Welcome back to my personal vice. About a year ago, I uploaded a very long and very rambly overview of my entire game collection as it stood in January of 2024, which, if you guys want to watch that video, you can hit that link in the description below. But in the time since, I have made some of what I would consider to be mildly interesting additions to the collection, and so in today's little or potentially not so little vlog, I want to do a brief overview of everything I purchased in 2024 and where my game collection currently stands as of early 2025. So starting with the purchases I made in January of 2024, a lot of these are me just kind of filling in various gaps in the collection. Rayman Legends Definitive Edition, Infamous Second Son, Halo Reach, Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection, Xenoblade for Wii, all games that I was looking for a while but was having a hard time finding good examples of, if at all. But aside from those, I think there are really two main games that kind of define this month for me in terms of my collection growing. The first being that this is when I finally got my copy of Persona 3 Portable in from Limited Run. I know people tend to have some mixed opinions on Limited Run, and I can certainly understand the arguments against them. I don't think anybody likes how long it takes for them to ship games out, and the fact that they reserve certain games for their employees before they sell them on their website is kind of scummy. I think because of those reasons, I don't really have much of an interest in really collecting limited run stuff, nor do I feel like you should be obligated to collect limited runs games in order to have a complete set for any given console. I really only buy from them to get games that I otherwise would not be able to get physically, like, for example, Persona 3 Portable for PS4. I have been hankering for some more Persona games ever since I played Persona 5 for the first time, and so it was really cool to get what a lot of people would consider the first truly classic Persona game on PS4. I think that was really neat. Also cool is the fact that I got this shortly before Reload came out, so I was able to play a little bit of this and have something to compare Reload to, so that was kind of cool. And then also purchased this month is a game that I feel like better indicates my general purchasing tendencies when it comes to video games. I don't really buy a lot of games solely because they're rare or expensive or anything like that. For the most part, I am perfectly content buying 3 $10 games as I am buying one $30 game. I primarily buy games if I think they are weird or cool or interesting, or if I want to make videos on them. Hence, History Channel's Civil War: A Nation Divided. This was 100% an impulse buy for me. I had never seen it before, nor have I seen it again since. I did not know History Channel made video games. I did not know there was a Civil War shooter game. So yeah, kind of had to have it. I will definitely be making a video on this someday. I do not know when, but I have to do it because it's too weird not to. February, Persona 3 Reload came out, so that was kind of my month set. I think opinions were maybe a little mixed on this game, and I don't really understand why or what people are talking about. I thought this game was awesome. The updated visuals are incredible. The UI is fantastic. The soundtrack is fantastic. It is possibly the best looking game in the series to date, which is saying a lot. Like I said in my tier list review, I think there are some moments in the game that are kind of exposed by the updated visuals that haven't necessarily aged as well. But for the most part, I thought this was incredible. I sunk a ton of time into it. It was hands down my game of the year for the first 7 or 8 months that it was out. I need to play Episode Igus. That is going to be another massive time sink for me. Very much a big Persona month in general. Also happening this month, Best Buy did a sale on very specific new games. So I did get Persona 5 Tactica and Sonic Superstars for $20 each, I think. Definitely a pretty solid price for February of 2024. I still haven't played either of them yet, but Persona 5 Tactica looks pretty fun. Very similar to Mario and Rabbids, I would say. I did have a good time with that game. And Sonic Superstars, I guess this was right after I came off playing Frontiers. So I was kind of in a Sonic mood when I bought this, and I still feel like this could be a pretty solid time. Also occurring this month, I got my copies of Shantae and the Pirate's Curse and Persona 4 Golden in from Limited Run. I have not made any purchases from Limited Run since these, but I did think these were worthy of being picked up. Persona 4 because, you know, And then Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, because unless I'm mistaken, this game is tied to the interesting factoid that it is the last 3DS game ever produced. I can't find evidence of it anymore, but I want to say that after this game was produced, they just shut down 3DS cartridge production lines. So this was it. Have not played a Shantae game before, but I've heard pretty solid things about them, so I'm at least kind of interested in playing it. And then lastly, we've got Halo 3 and DMC 5. Again, just some pretty standard pickups. March, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth came out. Again, like I said in the year-end review, it's fine, it's cool. I like how it's an open world game, but I think I got kind of overwhelmed by that in a way, and also by the fact that the game has a pretty slow start. I'm still about 10 hours in. I think it's fine. It's good. I'll probably come back to it. I'm just not really interested in playing it right now. In more general pickups, a couple Call of Duty games, Infinite Warfare and Ghosts. I'm a sucker for a good Call of Duty campaign. It is my video game palate cleanser, if you will. Whenever I don't know what to play next, I can always boot up a Call of Duty campaign. Disney's Epic Mickey is one I have been looking for a while, as was Atari 50 for the PS5. This is an incredible compilation of various Atari games from various Atari systems. You got games from the 2600, the 5200, the 7800, even Atari, Jaguar, and Lynx games, which are all pretty hard to come by nowadays. So yeah, pretty solid and fairly comprehensive, I guess, overview of Atari's history and celebration of their 50th anniversary. And then this last one wasn't really an intentional pickup, but I did manage to rescue a Wii out of the tech recycling bin at my local Staples back when I worked there. And inside it, sure enough, was a copy of Guitar Hero 5 for Wii. I don't have any Guitar Hero peripherals for my Wii, or at all, I guess, but honestly, pretty solid find inside a Wii. This is like a $20 game loose, so I'll take it. And that was kind of it for my pretty spend-happy beginning to the year, especially since the only game I picked up in April was Armored Core 6. I bought this for the Xbox is Dead exclusives video that I released back in May or June or something like that. But I have been curious about this game since it launched, especially since in the time that I've been playing video games, or I guess really got into video games, From Software hasn't really done anything other than Souls games. So to see that they have been working on this in the background was honestly kind of cool. I did play for a little bit and didn't get too far in. It does still have kind of a Dark Soulsy, this is kind of bullshit touch to it that you can really only get around by getting really good with the customization and build aspect of the game, which I personally am not really used to, so I haven't really been too compelled to get back into this yet, but I could get back into it in the future. It seems pretty cool. I like mech games, or at least I think I do, based on what little I've played from this. It seems pretty neat. Yeah, it was a pretty cool pickup. May, again, was a pretty slow month for me. I got Gears of War 2 for the 360. But a little more exciting than that, I did get the Paper Mario Thousand Year Door remake for Nintendo Switch. I had been pretty highly anticipating this title, and so I did pick it up around launch. I had a pretty solid time with this game. There are things I found pretty annoying about it, but for the most part, I think it was kind of cute and charming. I can see why people like it so much. I just kind of wish I hadn't had my expectations set so high by everyone saying, this is the peak of Mario RPGs. It never got better than this. But at least I didn't have to spend $100 on the GameCube version just to experience it, so I will take it. June was the last of what I would consider my slow months for the year. I did buy a couple of DJ Hero 2 turntables that were complete in box for the Wii, minus the game, so I guess I'm on the hunt for a DJ Hero 2 for Wii. But I did buy Luigi's Mansion 2 HD this month when it came out. Was kind of excited to play this game. I don't have any experience with this game. It's the only Luigi's Mansion game that I don't have any experience with, so I was kind of excited to pick this up. I had intended to save it for Halloween, and then I never played it on Halloween, and still haven't touched it. I don't know. I'm sure I'll get the hankering for it eventually, or maybe I'll try and save it for this Halloween, or that's at least what I'll tell myself. I know it generally hasn't been as well received as 1 and 3, but I'm still kind of curious about it. I think it'll probably be a pretty good time. July was when I moved into the new place, but that did not stop me from buying a bunch of games, specifically because this is when I started buying games for my game shopping at non-game shops video. So we picked up FIFA 08, NBA 11, and Madden 11 from a local Goodwill. It's kind of all they had, but I got them for 99 cents a piece, so I will absolutely take that. I also got Skate 3 and Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion for Xbox 360 / Xbox One. I have a weird interest in these quote-unquote backwards compatible games that were released for Xbox One, which are really just Xbox 360 games in Xbox One cases. Or in the case of Elder Scrolls 4, an Xbox 360 game in a case that's also for Xbox 360 game, but with art that kind of looks like it was intended for Xbox One packaging. I don't know what was going on there. Xbox is really odd when it comes to spines or just packaging their games in general, as I have previously discussed. So, yeah, but I would really like to get a full set of these games. Again, I don't know what it is that I find so interesting about them. I think it's just weird that they did it, that it's something that Xbox did. Why? Best Buy was having another sale on new video games, so I picked up Crisis Core for PS5 and Need for Speed Heat for PS4. As you can tell from the stickers and unopened shrink wrap, I was very excited to get home and not play these. I will probably play those whenever I get more of a hankering for the Final Fantasy VII games, or at least maybe when I finish Rebirth. I don't know. And then the only other new game I got this month was College Football 25. I did get the Walmart version, so it came with this pretty cool steelbook. I have very mixed thoughts about this game. On one hand, I'm incredibly frustrated at how poorly it's made and has been planned out. On the other hand, it is still pretty fun. It is college football at its core. August was probably my biggest month in terms of sheer quantity of games. For starters, I bought a PS3. I have been wanting a PS3 for quite a while to kind of see what I had missed out on when I was on the Xbox 360 side of that middle school scrap. So some of my initial pickups were Need for Speed Pro Street, NCAA Basketball 09, Sonic 06, and Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim. Need for Speed Pro Street I will probably make a video on, maybe soon, maybe not. But it is the first Need for Speed game I remember playing, and it is a really odd one at that. Also, Sonic 06. Sonic 06. I was kind of shocked they even had it in stores to begin with, but I will take it. Not really a huge basketball guy, nor am I a huge basketball video game guy, but I do love me some NCAA basketball. Might even be more fun than NCAA football, which is saying a lot for me. So yeah, it was pretty cool to get a copy of NCAA 9 for relatively cheap. And believe it or not, this is the first and to this day only copy of Skyrim that I own. I cannot believe it took me this long to get a copy. Yeah, I guess I'm part of the reason why they haven't made an Elder Scrolls 6 yet. My bad. I also continued my purchases for the game shopping at non-game shops video, so I had quite a few purchases for that. The Show 10 and Uncharted 2 for PS3, Red Steel and Wii Fit for Wii, Forza Motorsport and Mech Assault, and Need for Speed Underground Platinum Hits for the original Xbox, and GTA 4 for the 360. Again, games that are kind of just filling out various gaps in the collection, and also are kind of just games I don't really have a lot of experience with to begin with, but I'm at least sort of interested in. I've heard Red Steel and Mech Assault are really fun exclusives for their respective systems, so I am pretty excited to give those a shot eventually. Forza Motorsport was just one of the games in that franchise that I didn't own yet. Same can be said for GTA 4. And then MLB The Show 10 didn't have an MLB The Show game yet, so yeah, tried it out. It was kind of cool. And then at the end of the month, the boys and I did take a trip to the IKEA in Charlotte so I could pick up this bad boy right here. And on our way back, we did stop at the Video Game World in Concord Mills. And while I was there, I picked up some games. Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, and FIFA 03 for GameCube. I've been sort of trying to expand my GameCube collection for the past year and a half or so. Not trying super hard, not really going out of my way to buy GameCube games, but picking them up when I have the chance. And these were the last two on the shelf at Video Game World, so yeah, I did scoop them up. Don't have too much of an interest in FIFA 03, but Lord of the Rings The Two Towers is mildly interesting to me. I don't know of how many Lord of the Rings games there are, but I don't know, seems kind of cool. I'll give it a shot. And then lastly, we have America's Army: Rise of a Soldier for the original Xbox. This is another one that's interested me for various reasons. Like the Burger King games, this is a prime example of advertainment, a video game designed to sort of advertise or sell you on a product, in this case, the United States Army. Apparently the campaign is based on the experiences of an actual soldier, so I'm kind of curious to see how this stacks up to, say, like a Call of Duty game, see what they did, what they changed to make this feel different. Again, it is for the original Xbox, so I'm not exactly expecting the world from this game, but it could be fun. September, didn't really buy a whole lot of games this month, but the ones I did buy, I think, are pretty cool. This is when I did my GameStop retro initial impressions video, and while I was there for the review, I picked up a copy of Resident Evil 4 for GameCube. I have been looking for a GameCube or Wii copy of this game for quite a while, and I'm pretty happy I finally have one. I know this is a pretty well-liked, pretty landmark title within the Resident Evil series, within horror games as a whole. So yeah, it's kind of cool that I finally have my hands on a copy. And I'm not really a big horror game guy, but I would consider at least giving this game a shot. What I was slightly more excited about is the fact that at this GameStop, they had a copy of Gravity Rush Remastered, which was crazy. This is one of the rarer games for PS4. I want to say about 20,000 American copies were made, and so it was pretty pricey for quite a while and also very hard to find for quite a while. I managed to pick up this copy for around 50 bucks, which is honestly a little below market value, or at least was for this game, so that was kind of a big GameStop win. It's an adventure game largely focused around shifting gravity to engage in combat and solve puzzles. So yeah, definitely has piqued my interest, and I'm very happy to finally have a copy of this game. And then the last pickup to fill in a gap in the PS5 collection, God of War Ragnarok. I bought this copy off my boss at work for, I want to say, 20 bucks, which is kind of a solid deal. Yeah, pretty happy to have this game. I enjoyed it when I played it a couple years ago. I just did not own the copy of the game that I played. So yeah. Neat that I finally have this and can play it when I want to, because I probably will want to replay it eventually. October was my, oh shit, I haven't really played a whole lot of this year's games month, so I went a little more out of my way than I usually do to buy new games. First things first, Astrobot. So glad I went out of my way to find a copy of this game. I think I seriously checked 4 or 5 stores before I found this copy. And having played it, I can definitely see why everyone was going crazy for it. It is truly incredible. This is a game you could easily recommend to anyone. It was clearly crafted with a love of video games and game history in mind. And for me, it does narrowly beat out Persona 3 Reload as my game of the year. I could not find any faults with this game. It's fantastic. Metaphor ReFantasio, another solid RPG from Atlas. Oddly enough, I have not been able to get into this game. I don't know what it is. I think I'm just kind of RPG'd out right now. I have really enjoyed what I've played. It is phenomenal. It's very well built. It's got all the Persona 3 presentation quirks and just everything nailed down. It is really, really beautiful. It's probably one I'm going to be slowly chipping away at for a while, but yeah, still really solid title. I can definitely see it being more of a Game of the Year contender than Persona 3 Reload. And Zelda Echoes of Wisdom was another game I was very excited for this month. I've been looking forward to this pretty much the second it was announced. Very atypical Zelda game, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I did really like the focus on Zelda as a character and the tweaks they made to the formula to, I guess, suit the game towards her gameplay. I thought that was really fun. Pretty short and sweet for a Zelda game at like 18-ish hours, but I think it suits the game pretty well. Wasn't exactly a top-tier Game of the Year contender for me, but it was close. I did really, really enjoy my time with it. And lastly, my more general pickups, starting with Persona 4 Arena, which I bought because, you know, and the other one being History Channel's Great Battles Medieval. This is when I realized that History Channel has made multiple video games and began seriously considering doing a video on them. November was another very mixed bag pickup month for me. Had a few general pickups, including some interesting stuff with Journey Collector's Edition and the Killzone Trilogy Collection. Being relatively new to PlayStation, I have almost zero experience with the Killzone games prior to this, but to me, it kind of comes across as Sony's competitor to Halo in a way. Slightly awkward controls, but it does have really solid gunplay in a pretty futuristic environment, so they seem to be pretty solid games. As far as the collection itself goes, it's not bad. Seems like a pretty solid way to experience these titles. It straight up downloads Killzone 1 in full to your console, which in this era where the Wii Shop channel and the Xbox 360 storefront have already gone permanently offline, it's kind of cool to still be able to download games to my PlayStation 3 in a way. And then Journey, of course, is a pretty classic indie game. I have been very curious about it for a while, and the fact that this version comes with Flow and Flower pre-bundled in is very, very cool. Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor, Battlefield 4, and Rage being another one of these backwards compatible Xbox One games in yet another long box like Elder Scrolls 4. Again, just kind of general pickups. I did pick up the new Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 games. I know people haven't been particularly receptive to these. I personally, at least in terms of the campaign, I think these are awesome. I think the campaign is really solid. One of the best I have played since the older Modern Warfare games. I feel like the hate is more generally directed towards the multiplayer and multiplayer changes that have been made anyways, which I can't really comment on because I haven't played any Call of Duty multiplayer in years. Conceptually speaking, though, changing the multiplayer to be a little more strategic and slower, and I guess more Battlefield-esque, it doesn't really sound all that bad to me. In fact, I think it sounds kind of interesting, and if you want the more fast-paced gunplay, I think you still have that with the Black Ops games. I think it's a kind of a cool way to differentiate between the various Call of Duty series. Madden 25, another PS5 general cop, mostly just for the meme of saying that I now own 2 games called Madden 25. And then lastly, my other big purchase for the month is the Talos Principle Deluxe Edition for PS4. If I'm understanding this correctly, this is another first-person puzzle game, kind of along the lines of Portal 2 or The Watcher. Seems to be pretty cool. Also, this is a relatively rare game for PS4 again. I want to say something like 40,000 copies were made, so not quite as rare as Gravity Rush Remastered, but it's probably the second or third rarest game in my collection, so yeah, kind of cool. Finally, my December pickups, starting with the general purchases that I made at the beginning of the month, Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Hollow Knight for Switch. I really only bought Shadow of the Tomb Raider as a way of completing my new Lara Croft trilogy for PS4, so that was kind of cool to finally find in stores, but the bigger pickup for me, at least, was Hollow Knight. Primarily because this is what I am currently playing through. I told a coworker that I really enjoyed Animal Well, and he told me I needed to play Hollow Knight, and so I went out, picked it up, and yeah, I can see why people like this game. It is very cute, very charming, and I don't know, just generally fun to watch gameplay of. Also cool is the fact that my copy came with an instruction booklet and this little map of Hollow Nest, which is kind of cool. Kind of wish games still did that, you know, little paper inserts and instruction manuals. Real hot take there, I know. But yeah, Hollow Knight itself has been very fun. I've really enjoyed it. It's been whimsical and cute and charming, and it oftentimes spooky, but I think it does all of those really well. It's been very fun. And lastly, to round out this year's pickups, a couple weeks ago I went to a McKay's Used Books up in Mebane, which if you've never been to a McKay's, they've got pretty much every form of entertainment you could ask for. CDs, DVDs, movies, books, vinyl, trading cards, manga, comics, and a really solid video game selection, far better than what you're gonna find at your average GameStop. First up, we've got a Japanese copy of Persona 5 Dancing because, you know, actually the fact that they even have Japanese games at the McKay's is really, really sick and speaks to the wide variety of titles that they get in there. And yeah, did not have a copy of any Persona Dancing game, so I guess this works. Assassin's Creed Chronicles for PS4. Kind of shocked that I hadn't seen these before the McKay's trip, but very cool that I actually found a copy of these games. These have somehow missed me, or I've missed them, and I'm very happy to finally have this, I guess, collection of spin-off titles. Sega GT 2002 and the Jet Set Radio Future Combo Pack. I have a copy of this game, or I did have a copy of this game, but now I have a complete in-box copy of this game, so that's cool. And our final major pickup for the year is the Eco and Shadow of the Colossus collection for PS3. I've been looking for Shadow of the Colossus for PS4 for quite a while, but I guess this will do as long as I have a way to play these games. The fact that it's bundled in with Eco is really cool and makes sense because, you know, they're both Team Eco titles. Having never seen this collection before, it was very exciting to find at the McKays. And I'm very excited to play these games because I've heard good things about them, but aside from like their very rough concepts, I really don't know much about them. So looking forward to giving them a shot. And there we go. Those are all the games I purchased in 2024. Not necessarily a ton of titles, I know. I'm sure there's some of you out there who have probably purchased more Switch games this year than I purchased games total. Again, I really just focus on buying games that really appeal to me, or I have some sort of vague interest in or desire to play, or things I just find weird or interesting. Like, otherwise I wouldn't really be buying the History Channel games. But yeah, I don't know. That's all I really have to say about that. Thank you guys for watching. As always, it's much appreciated, and yeah, natural transition.